Imagine a single move so powerful that it could tip the balance of power in the entire artificial intelligence world. Picture a chess grandmaster making a game-changing play with billions of dollars and the future of technology hanging in the balance. That's exactly what happened this week, as Google executed a bold maneuver that could redefine who writes the world's next chapter in software, innovation, and economic supremacy. In this episode, we break down the deal that sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley and beyond, a deal worth well over $2 billion, involving some of the brightest minds and most coveted code on the planet. But what's behind Google's high-stakes gamble? And what does it mean for the future of artificial intelligence, competition, and the very nature of innovation itself? To answer these questions, we need to zoom out and examine the fierce battle raging beneath the surface of today's tech landscape. The artificial intelligence arms race is now at a fever pitch, with every major tech titan, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and a growing list of ambitious startups locked in a no-holds-barred contest for talent, algorithms, and market shares. This is a modern-day gold rush, but the precious metal isn't gold. It's artificial intelligence expertise and intellectual property. Why is this happening? Because whoever controls the most advanced artificial intelligence does not just dictate the pace of innovation, they shape the future of the global economy. The stakes are enormous. Artificial intelligence is rewriting the rules for everything from software engineering to healthcare diagnostics, financial trading to logistics. Consider this. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, recently revealed that nearly one-third of all code written inside Microsoft's walls is now generated not by humans, but by artificial intelligence. Let that sink in. For a company that basically helped define the modern era of software development, that's nothing short of revolutionary. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The artificial intelligence revolution is not only transforming how code is written, but also who gets to write it. AI-powered coding assistants like GitHub Copilot, Google's Gemini, Anthropic's Claude, and OpenAI's ChatGPT are rapidly evolving from handy tools to indispensable partners, capable of translating plain language into complex, production-ready software. This is unleashing a new wave of productivity, but it's also intensifying the scramble for the technology and talent that make these breakthroughs possible. Enter Windsurf, a name that, until recently, was whispered only in venture capital circles and among hardcore artificial intelligence engineers. Just a few years ago, Windsurf was known as Exafunction, a quietly ambitious startup focused on optimizing GPU workloads, a deeply technical field, but one with enormous implications for machine learning performance. Exafunction's team was building the plumbing that would let artificial intelligence models run faster and more efficiently, giving them an edge in the high-speed race to smarter software. But then, the world changed. The explosion of artificial intelligence coding assistants opened up a much bigger opportunity. Sensing the shift, Windsurf pivoted hard, retooling its expertise to build cutting-edge tools that could generate custom code, automate repetitive programming tasks, and help companies turn natural language into working software. Investors took notice. Over $200 million in venture capital flowed into Windsurf's coffers, backing its vision of democratizing high-performance artificial intelligence coding. This rapid transformation propelled Windsurf from an obscure upstart to one of the hottest commodities in tech. Soon, it wasn't just venture capitalists competing for a piece of the action. The giants came calling. First, OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT and a central player in the artificial intelligence revolution, opened negotiations to acquire Windsurf for a staggering $3 billion. But as with all high-stakes deals, things got complicated. At the heart of the OpenAI Windsurf saga was a question of control. OpenAI, backed by Microsoft, wanted exclusive access to Windsurf's crown jewel technology. But Windsurf's leadership, led by CEO Varun Mohan and co-founder Douglas Chen, refused to grant Microsoft the rights to their intellectual property. This was more than just a contractual dispute. It was a battle over the future of who gets to shape the next generation of artificial intelligence tools. With Microsoft's own ambitions and existing agreements in play, the deal stalled. Time ran out on OpenAI's exclusivity period, and suddenly, the field was wide open. That's when Google made its move. In a maneuver that caught much of the industry by surprise, Google offered $2.4 billion, not for Windsurf as a whole, but for the right to bring over its most talented leaders and engineers, along with a non-exclusive license to its breakthrough technology. This was not an ordinary acquisition. Instead, it was a strategic play designed to sidestep antitrust scrutiny while giving Google a massive injection of artificial intelligence firepower. Varun Mohan, the visionary founder and CEO, along with Douglas Chen and a select group of elite engineers, will now join Google's DeepMind division. Their mission: to supercharge the Gemini project, Google's answer to the artificial intelligence coding revolution. DeepMind, already renowned for its work in artificial intelligence research and famous for victories like AlphaGo, now aims to leap ahead in the coding assistant space, potentially delivering tools that could redefine software development as we know it. But the story does not end there. Unlike the traditional buyout playbook, where the acquired company simply disappears into the corporate mothership, Windsurf is staying alive. Jeff Wang, who previously led business operations, has stepped up as interim CEO. Graham Moreno, now president, is spearheading global sales. The majority of the Windsurf team remains in place, charged with continuing to develop and license their technology, including, in a twist, to Google's fiercest competitors. This non-exclusive licensing deal means that Windsurf can keep selling its innovations to rivals like Microsoft, Amazon, and Anthropic, keeping the competitive fires burning in the artificial intelligence coding space. This brings us to a critical point. The Google Windsurf arrangement is more than just a transaction. It's a case study in how tech giants are reinventing the art of the deal to outmaneuver both each other and government regulators. Instead of traditional mergers or outright acquisitions, companies are now executing what industry insiders call reverse acquihires, strategic team poaching and technology licensing agreements that quietly consolidate power without triggering the alarm bells of competition authorities. As Paul Hill from NeoWin observed, this will help Google ensure Gemini is also a very good coding assistant. Yet the question remains, at what cost to healthy competition and innovation? Regulators in both the United States and Europe are starting to take notice. The Federal Trade Commission and the European Commission have launched preliminary investigations into these new forms of deal-making, concerned that big tech is finding creative ways to sidestep the spirit, if not the letter, of antitrust law. Already we have seen similar moves. Microsoft's high-profile recruitment of the founders and staff from Inflection AI, Amazon's poaching of top executives from Adept AI Labs, and Google's acquisition of Character.ai's co-founders through a licensing agreement. While these deals technically fall short of full corporate takeovers, the cumulative effect is a quiet consolidation of talent and technology at the very top of the artificial intelligence pyramid. Industry observers are split on the long-term impact. Some argue that these moves inject much-needed resources and scale into promising startups, accelerating the pace of innovation. Others warn that if left unchecked, this trend could choke off competition and leave only a handful of giants in control of the most powerful artificial intelligence tools. As TechCrunch put it, the Google Windsurf deal is the AI ecosystem's latest reverse acquihire, avoiding regulatory scrutiny. So what does the future hold for Windsurf? With its founding visionaries now at Google, Windsurf faces a daunting challenge, proving that it can survive, let alone thrive, without its original brain trust. The company's war chest is still deep, thanks to over $200 million in venture backing, and its product is widely regarded as state-of-the-art. But the market is moving faster than ever. In the coming months, Windsurf will need to retain its top engineers, execute on bold new product ideas, and defend its turf against a swarm of new and established competitors. There's already chatter in Silicon Valley that Windsurf's remaining team members will be courted relentlessly by other tech giants hungry for artificial intelligence expertise. Meanwhile, Google stands to gain a significant advantage. By integrating Windsurf's talent and technology into DeepMind, Google is betting that it can leapfrog rivals like Microsoft's Copilot and Anthropic's Claude in the race to build the most capable artificial intelligence coding assistant. The Gemini project, already a cornerstone of Google's artificial intelligence ambitions, could become the standard-bearer for next-generation software development tools. Tools that not only automate code generation, but also understand context, anticipate bugs, and collaborate with human developers in increasingly sophisticated ways. But there's an intriguing twist. Because the licensing agreement is non-exclusive, Windsurf retains the right to license its technology to Google's competitors. This sets up a fascinating dynamic. Windsurf could end up powering the tools of both Google and its fiercest rivals, playing both sides of the market in a high-stakes game of artificial intelligence chess. Will this strategy attract new partners and revenue streams, or simply paint a bigger target on Windsurf's back, making it the next prize in the ongoing talent and technology war? Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the broader landscape. The artificial intelligence coding assistant market is expected to grow at an exponential rate over the next decade. Analysts at OpenTools.ai predict that within 5 to 10 years, a majority of code written worldwide could be at least partially generated or reviewed by artificial intelligence. This is not just a matter of convenience. It's a tectonic shift in how digital infrastructure is built, maintained, and secured. Smaller startups, once seen as the disruptors, now find themselves caught between the gravitational pull of tech giants and the relentless pace of technological change. For Windsurf, the road ahead is filled with both opportunity and peril. If it can maintain its edge, retaining key personnel, innovating quickly, and forging new partnerships, it could emerge as a rare example of a startup that survives, or even thrives, after a talent exodus. But if it falters, it may soon be relegated to the ranks of promising companies that were ultimately absorbed or outpaced by bigger, faster-moving rivals. What are the broader implications for the industry? First, the war for artificial intelligence talent is fundamentally changing how technology companies operate. No longer is it enough to simply buy up promising startups. Now the focus is on acquiring teams, intellectual property, and access to cutting-edge code through creative, sometimes opaque deal structures. For entrepreneurs, Windsurf's journey offers a vivid lesson. Pivot quickly, protect your intellectual property fiercely, and build a business model that can adapt to sudden changes in the market. In the current climate, speed and flexibility are as valuable as technical brilliance. Second, for workers in tech, especially those with artificial intelligence skills, the market has never been hotter. As Satya Nadella's revelation about Microsoft's codebase illustrates, the value of artificial intelligence expertise has skyrocketed. Developers with experience in artificial intelligence and machine learning are now courted like superstar athletes, offered lucrative compensation packages, signing bonuses, and the chance to work on projects that could define the next era of computing. If you have, or can develop, artificial intelligence skills, you hold the ultimate bargaining chip. Third, for investors and startup founders, the Windsurf saga is a case study in both the promise and peril of rapid growth. The influx of venture capital, the whirlwind of corporate interests, and the ever-present risk of being outmaneuvered by larger players make this a high-risk, high-reward environment. Those who can navigate these waters by focusing on defensible intellectual property, building strong organizational cultures, and keeping an eye on regulatory trends stand the best chance of building lasting value. Fourth, for regulators and policymakers, the era of creative deal-making is both a challenge and an opportunity. The old rules, built for an age of classic mergers and acquisitions, are struggling to keep pace with the fluid, talent-centric strategies now favored by big tech. If antitrust authorities want to ensure a level playing field, they will need to look beyond traditional merger thresholds and start tracking the subtle flows of people, code, and influence. That means asking new questions. Who controls the key teams? How is intellectual property being shared or locked away? What impact do these deals have on the broader ecosystem of innovation? Let's not forget the human side of this story. For the founders and engineers involved, these deals are life-changing moments. Opportunities to shape the future, but also to face enormous pressure and scrutiny. As Varun Mohan and Douglas Chen recently stated, "We are proud of what Windsurf has built and are excited to see it move forward." For Jeff Wang, now at the helm, the challenge is to keep the flame alive, rally the team, and prove that Windsurf can chart a new course without its original founders. Expert voices in the field are weighing in, a Google spokesperson emphasized. "We're excited to welcome some top artificial intelligence coding talent to advance our work in agentic coding, highlighting the strategic importance of this move for Google's global ambitions." Meanwhile, industry analysts at OpenTools.ai point out that Google's decision to secure a non-exclusive license signals a new, more aggressive strategy to bolster artificial intelligence capabilities while hedging against regulatory risk. As Paul Hill of NeoWin put it, this move will help Google to ensure Gemini is also a very good coding assistant, underscoring the technical synergies and competitive implications at play. What about the competitive response? Not to be outdone, Anthropic, another rising artificial intelligence star, has reportedly restricted Windsurf's access to its Claude models in the wake of these high-profile negotiations. This is a clear sign of the growing anxiety among startups and established players alike, as everyone tries to protect their competitive edge while navigating an increasingly crowded and complex landscape. Looking ahead, several scenarios are possible. Google's Gemini project could leapfrog the competition, setting new benchmarks for coding assistance and productivity. Windsurf, under its new leadership, could evolve into a nimble licensor of cutting-edge technology, powering the tools of tomorrow's developers across multiple platforms. On the other hand, increased regulatory scrutiny could slow the pace of consolidation, giving rise to more diverse innovation and perhaps even a new generation of challenger startups. There are also broader historical parallels worth noting. The current wave of artificial intelligence-driven consolidation echoes earlier eras of technological upheaval. Think back to the early days of the personal computer revolution, when companies like Microsoft and Apple raced to define the operating systems that would underpin the digital age. Or the internet boom of the late 1990s, when a handful of giants emerged from a crowded field of upstarts. Today's artificial intelligence arms race is similarly transformative, but with even higher stakes, as artificial intelligence reaches into every corner of the economy and society. And here's an insider secret. While headline-grabbing deals like Google Windsurf make the news, industry insiders say that for every publicized licensing agreement, there are dozens of quiet, behind-the-scenes talent moves happening every month. Teams are being poached, code is being licensed, and alliances are being forged, all with an eye to gaining even a fractional edge in the relentless battle for artificial intelligence supremacy. So what does this mean for you? Whether you're a developer, a startup founder, an investor, or just an interested observer, the lessons are clear. Stay agile, recognize the value of your skills, watch the shifting alliances, and be ready to pivot when opportunity knocks. And above all, understand that the future of technology is being written right now, not just in code, but in the boardrooms, hiring halls, and regulatory offices where today's deals shape tomorrow's possibilities. As we wrap up, let's return to the big question. Can Windsurf survive and even thrive after losing its visionary founders to Google? The answer, as with so much in the world of artificial intelligence, depends on execution, adaptability, and a bit of luck. With a substantial war chest, a top-tier product, and the freedom to license its technology across the industry, Windsurf has a fighting chance. But the road ahead will be tough, with relentless competition, regulatory uncertainties, and the ever-present threat of further talent raids. For Google, the decision to recruit innovators through creative licensing and team hires, rather than outright takeovers, may prove to be a winning play, at least until regulators catch up. The Gemini project could become the new North Star of artificial intelligence-driven software development, setting a pace that others must follow. And for the industry as a whole, the real story is not just about who wins the next deal, but about how the rules of the game are changing. The balance of power is shifting, not just from one company to another, but from old models of competition to a new era defined by speed, talent, and the relentless pursuit of artificial intelligence excellence. Remember, if you found this deep dive valuable, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and join the conversation below. Who do you think will win the artificial intelligence coding war? What should regulators do next? And what lessons will you take from the Windsurf saga? Stay tuned for more insider analysis.